Walmart lizard now. But the craziest part about all these rumors, everyone believed that the smell just came from a plumbing incident. Apparently, when Chase's mom smelled the awful stench, she assumed the worst, that someone broke her toilet and that basically released an evil stench into the air ducts. Word around town was that she had to air the house out for days, throw away a bunch of their furniture, and this should have been all great in theory because it meant I got away with it. But there was still one question. What happened to Chase? 2 whole weeks passed and there was still no sign of him. Not just in class, but online too. And in this generation, it's not normal for someone to be unresponsive for 2 whole weeks when someone texts them. I mean, sure, sometimes I won't respond to a text right away just to seem mysterious and cool, but then after a couple hours, I can't resist anymore and I open the message. So all of a sudden, there was a serious question going around school. What happened to Chase? Because not even his best friends knew where he was. I was sure that wherever Chase had been these past couple of weeks, I was the person responsible for it. And I never wanted it to go that far. The burden of that guilt was way too much for me. So even though I really didn't want to do this, I decided I had to. What am I talking about? Going to Chase's house. No matter what happened to him, I needed to know. Even if that meant getting busted. Because if Chase had something serious happen to him as a result of my prank, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. So after 2 weeks of Chase being absent, I went back to the scene of the crime. I knock on Chase's front door, and after a couple seconds, his mom answers. She obviously doesn't recognize me because me and Chase weren't friends, but she immediately assumes that we were. So she goes, "Sorry, Chase isn't here right now." But before she can shut the door, I say, wait. Can you at least tell me where he is? I could tell she didn't want to, but I'm a pretty stubborn person, so she knew that it would just be easier to get this all over with if she actually told me the truth. So she sighs for a second and then goes, "Okay, were you one of the kids at the party?" This question made me nervous because now I wasn't sure if she was onto me, and I'm not really good at lying, so I say, no, yeah, yes, I was there, yeah. So then she goes, "So that means you're aware of what happened that night, correct?" I tell her yes, but this is where I realize I messed up really bad, because then she says, "Well, the past couple of months, Chase's behavior has not been great, and because his dad and I care about him so much, we decided that needed to change." What did that mean? Chase's parents sent him to boarding school, meaning he no longer went to my school. Apparently, Chase was already on thin ice with his parents, and this party was the final straw for them to finally make that decision. So they sent him away in hopes of correcting his behavior. And when she said this, I felt awful because I thought it was my fault. Like, I literally could have ruined this kid's life. But the only reason I don't feel horrible about this is that the next year in school, after summer, when we all went back, guess who was there? Chase. Except now, there was something different about him. What do I mean by that? Well, now, Chase was the nicest guy in school. Never misbehaved in class. He was way nicer to me now, and overall, just a cool guy to be around. So all I have to say is, thank the Lord the boarding school worked, because if it didn't, I would feel so horrible about what I did. I mean, I still do, but at least this is a consolation. So Chase, if you're seeing this, I guess you're welcome for helping you out. No, I am sorry though. Have you ever been in a group chat and thought, wow, if anyone ever sees these texts, we're going to jail? Because I was in a group chat like that, but one day, it actually did get leaked. And the punishment we got for this leak was 10 times worse than we ever could have imagined. It all started after spring break. Everyone was depressed to be back at school after 5 days off, and there was only one thing that could get us through the school day, our group chat. It was called Kids with Dads and Trey, because Trey's dad left when he was younger. There was 6 of us in it, and if you've ever been in a group chat like this before, you know there's always one person who's just slightly unhinged. In our group, that was Eli. Now don't get me wrong, Eli wasn't some evil mastermind. He wasn't scary or anything. He was just a little too chronically online. Like one time, one of my friends sent a picture of them eating a sandwich, and he literally photoshopped it to make the sandwich look like a turd, so it looked like he was eating poop. Don't ask why. I don't know. But this was the type of stuff that Eli liked to do. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes not, but it was always harmless. Until it wasn't. Because on a random Wednesday, during the last hour of school, I see a random message pop up in the group chat. It's from Eli, and it just says, "Nobody come to school Friday." What? I scroll up to see if I missed something. Was this part of some other joke? Did I miss the bit? But nope. That was it. Completely unprovoked, he sent that message. Now, if you're a normal person, your brain probably immediately goes, okay, red flag. That's weird. But this was Eli we were talking about. This dude made a fake mixtape one time